right, fire it up. Let's do your thing here, bud. Nobody's any better at this than you are.
Have fun, take a deep breath.
Give him hell at the end. Good luck to you.
Fight like hell like we do every week. You are the best here.
Brett, be affirmative.
You told me to get on.
Info. Ready. Ready. Go slow. Green, green. Lock it down, lock it down. 14.
I'm destroyed, and I just got drove through like 6 times on the 14. Oh, excuse me, thank you. That is the stupidest thing I've seen in my career. Literally.
Everything you described is accurate. Haven't even finished the second stage yet. Half the field's wrecked.
Hell yeah.
11 got it. Proud of you there, Matt. Good job, pal. Thanks, man. Good job all day. Great work, my man. Great work.
Keep putting yourself in position, we'll win our share, right? We got one back today, brother. Good job.
Therefore, great job, guys.
And welcome back to another exciting week of Racing in the Draft. My name is Mark, and we head to the new and improved Atlanta. But take a look at last week where Chase Briscoe, first-time winner, second year in the Cup Series, driver for Stewart Haas Racing, ended up getting the victory at Phoenix Raceway. Pretty exciting for Chase Briscoe. And if you happen to have caught my live video, I definitely talked about some of the newer drivers coming up and whose turn this week it would be to finish well. I wasn't quite expecting Chase Briscoe to win the race, but I had a feeling that one of the younger drivers, young guns as they call them, would make their way to a top 5. Not only did he finish well, but Ross Chastain also ended up finishing well, and Tyler Reddick also ended up fairly well. So let's take a look at the results from last week at Phoenix. As we can see, Ryan Blaney actually did very well, staying in the top 5 after starting on the pole and leading the most laps with 143. Being one of the 2.5 kind of dominators. Chase Briscoe, the other real full dominator with 101 laps led, and Chase Elliott leading for 50 laps. Ross Chastain, Chris Buescher also both made the optimal along with Daniel Suarez. We had a couple of guys that were place differentials, Chris Buescher and Daniel Suarez, both who I thought would end up having fairly decent days from their starting spots. Chase Elliott and Martin Truex were two of the others that I thought would have pretty good finishing days, but Martin Truex Jr. decided to hit the wall and end his day early, so missed out on that one, but ended up having a decent weekend. Nobody had the optimal lineup, at least in none of the tournaments that I ran in, but 421.75 was a monstrous number for Phoenix. Usually we see those types of numbers at Bristol or Martinsville where they run 500 laps, and Dominator points are really, really big. But Eric Almirola finished 12th, just missing his 4th top 10, but he did have a pretty decent day, finishing 12th. He did start 6th, I think it was, 6th or 8th. But either way, he had a decent weekend, and he still leads the Optimal Challenge lineup after 4 races and after the West Coast swing. With 3, Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, and Ross Chastain tied for 2nd with 2, and as you can see, a whole host of other drivers who are tied for 3rd with 1. But that's enough for last week. That's in the past. Let's look at the future. And oh, how interesting it's going to be. They have spent the last 8 months at Atlanta completely tearing up the entire racetrack, adding banking, adding all sorts of stuff, new pavement. It's going to be a absolutely new track, other than it still fits in its 1.54 mile oval. It's going to race completely different. NASCAR has decided to run the Super Speedway package, which is a high downforce, lower horsepower. We should end up seeing I don't think we're going to see quite pack racing that we would see at Talladega or Daytona, but we are going to see a lot of drivers who are going to draft together, teams that are going to work together for drafting. I think we'll see a lot of high speeds. With this new pavement, we should see not as much tire fall off as we normally do at Atlanta, but with the high speeds and the high banked corners, we will see some tire degradation and fall off. So tires will still be not as much of a premium, but I think they'll still be a premium. But it's going to be interesting. I'm going to watch the truck race and Xfinity race. I think the Xfinity race is going to be more like what we may see in the Cup race, because the package is fairly similar between the Cup car and the Xfinity car. Hence the reason why we're seeing so many drivers who ran really, really well lately in Xfinity do really well in Cup. With that being said, let's take a look at what we do know about Atlanta. This is going to be the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. Oh, the Folds of Honor didn't show up because it's black. Whoops, sorry. But I'm now calling this an intermediate super speedway. Sounds kind of interesting. 1.54 miles, 28 degrees now on the turns and 5 degrees on the straightaways. The race length is 325 laps, which means Dominator points will be of the utmost importance. 81 coming from laps led, or 81.25 from laps led, and 146.25 from fast laps. I think we're going to see lots of multiple leaders this weekend. Dominator is going to be important because of the amount of laps that we run. It's going to be spread out amongst the guys that are running up front. But fast laps, we're going to see throughout the pack, like we do at Daytona and Talladega. You literally could have the 30th place guy run the fastest lap because he's pulling great draft off of the car in front of him, or possibly being pushed from the car behind him, and just has a gap that allows him to catch up to everyone else. So fast laps aren't going to really necessarily mean a whole lot, and I think laps led are going to be spread out amongst probably 10 to 15 drivers. So Dominator point is going to be important, but it's kind of like Talladega and Daytona, where I think there's going to be some attrition. I think there's going to be... I'm not thinking we're going to see a big one, but we could, since they're going to, at the beginning and anytime after a caution, where they're all bunched up. If they end up collecting or getting into a wreck, they could collect quite a few cars. It's going to be interesting. I really don't know how to run this other than to run probably half of my field like I would in a super speedway, and the other half of my field running it like we run Atlanta. I think another track to probably really look at, or two tracks to look at, would be Auto Club in Michigan, and I actually have put both of those into my algorithm to help sort out some of that, because they're fast tracks, they've got multiple lanes, but they also are fairly aero dependent on getting drafting help. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not. That's the only thing I can kind of come up with listening to all the talking heads and talking to drivers who have run testing sessions and their sim rigs and things of that nature. We do not have in iRacing the ability to run this new configuration or this new layout. So I did watch the e-racing Coca-Cola series a couple nights ago, and it definitely kind of gave that appearance. They were able to pass, they were able to draft up on each other, and they did kind of run in small packs. How much that equates, it's hard to say, but recently it has equated somewhat reasonably well to what we've seen on Sundays. We'll find out Sunday if that actually holds true or not. I'll be interested. But here's kind of a look at the new configuration from Atlanta. They went from what used to be a 24-degree banking that transformed to 4 degrees on the apron, to the transformation on the apron from 18 degrees all the way up to 28 degrees in the turns. It's really not a progressive bank, but there is a little bit of banking on the transition apron before you actually get down to the full flat apron, which is 2 degrees, which is pretty flat. The straightaways are at 5 degrees, so coming off of turns 2 and turns 4, they're going to be going from a 28 degree bank all the way down to a 5 degree bank. Hence the reason they moved the outside wall a little bit further out, as you can see in the picture over here. They moved that outside wall out to give them a little bit more room to make that apex and that turn onto the straightaway. I don't know. It's going to be a fun race. I'm very excited to watch it. I just don't know for sure how to really figure out, at least right now before practice and watching the other 2 series race. But I'll have hopefully a little bit more of a handle on it by the time we get to Sunday morning. But, so here are the track comparisons. I did use the old Atlanta data. I used Auto Club, I used Daytona, and Talladega. Yes, Auto Club is 14 degrees, Atlanta's at 28, Daytona's at 31, and Talladega's at 32. And they're all different in mile size. I really didn't have a clue kind of where to start. I had to just start somewhere and see what happens. So this data may or may not be the best in the world, but either way, the real reason you came is let's break down what we do know about some of these drivers. So Ryan Blaney is the most expensive this week at $10,800, which really isn't all that expensive. Last week, Kyle Larson was $11,800, so it's $1,000 savings from what we saw last week. But I do have him ranked at a number 1 on the power ranking. So what I have done, so you can kind of follow along, because usually this section right here of what I look at is the last 5 starts at a particular track. And it's literally typically 2 from last year, 2 from the year prior, and 1 from the year prior to that. With this, what I have done is I have taken the last 2 Atlanta starts. I took the Talladega race from last year to give me some Talladega data. I took the Daytona 500 from this year with the next-gen car being involved. And I took the Auto Club Speedway from this year because of the next-gen car and because of the extra drafting that happens with this car. Also, they were fairly loose on that track. The tire wear was much greater. So I don't know if that's 100% the best way to go, but I didn't really know of anywhere else to go with it. So either way, Ryan Blaney comes in first on my power ranking. That is based on the last 10 at similar tracks. So as I've talked about what I used for similar tracks in the past, and I also used Michigan in that mix. And I also used the Las Vegas race because it is a 1.5 mile track. But a lot of Daytona, a lot of Talladega, some Atlanta, some Michigan. So that's kind of where I went. I didn't use any short tracks, put it that way. But Ryan Blaney, of the last 5 races that I used as my comparison. So whenever I say the last 5 races from here on, I'm not going to continue to repeat myself. It's from the 5 comparison tracks. So Ryan Blaney has 1 win, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, 5 top 20s, a 42.3 DraftKings average, and an 8.6 average finish. He finished 5th at the old Atlanta track in the fall of last year. So that's what this highlighted number is. He finished 5th in the fall race of the Atlanta race last year. So different, same place, just different track. And at full Atlanta starts, he does have 1 win, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and 5 top 20s. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what I'm talking about when I go through the rest of these, and hopefully I don't have to repeat myself too often. And once again, qualifying and practice will happen before I go live on Sunday. In fact, let me take that back. I'm not going to go live on Sunday because my son has a baseball tournament that I'm going to. I will be doing a taped version of the live on Sunday morning before I leave but no real reason to go live at like 6 in the morning because I don't think anybody will be awake at that point. So I'm just going to tape delay it, and it'll be up for you guys to figure out. What you might want to look at is if there's anybody who has to, at the last minute, has to make changes to their car and has to be sent to the rear after they get their qualifying spots and after I've done my video. Alright, with that being said, I've rambled on long enough about all that. Let's get into the rest of the drivers. Next in line here, we have Kyle Larson at 10,500. He comes in at a power ranking of 2, and in the last 5 starts here, he does have 1 win. Not here, the last 5 starts. Make sure I get that straight. 1 win, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and 3 top 20s. 40.6 DraftKings average and an 18.0 average finish. Remember, he does not typically run very well at restrictor plate tracks. He finished 18th here in Atlanta last year in the fall. He has 8 total starts at Atlanta with 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and 6 top 20s. Okay, next in line here we have Chase Elliott, 10,300. Hypothetical power ranking of 13, and in the last 5 starts at our comparison tracks, he does not have a win or a top 5, but 2 top 10s and 3 top 20s, a 12.8 DraftKings average, which is really, really low, a 19.8 average finish, and he finished 7th here in the fall race last year. At Atlanta, he does have 7 starts with 1 top 5, 5 top 10s, and 6 top 20s. Pretty bad for your home track base. He grew up not too far away from Atlanta. But next in line, Denny Hamlin, 10,100. 6th on the hypothetical power ranking. And in the last 5 comparison tracks, he does have 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, and 4 top 20s. Denny Hamlin is really good at Daytona and fairly good at Talladega, but on these intermediate tracks, he's not quite as good. And this new next-gen car, all of Joe Gibbs Racing, has been, to be nice, awful. They kind of have, Stewart-Haas Racing, I guess, switched with them because Stewart-Haas Racing last year was awful to start the year, and they kind of improved throughout the year. Not a whole lot, but they did improve. So far, Joe Gibbs Racing has got whatever issue Stewart-Haas had last year, because the whole Joe Gibbs camp and Toyota camp is just awful. So I don't know how much I'll have of any of the Joe Gibbs cars. They'll turn it around somewhere. Until they do, I just don't know how much of an ownership I will be taking in the Joe Gibbs or Toyota cars. Kurt Busch was the highest finisher last week. I think he had a top 10, but everybody else was 14th or worse. But Denny Hamlin, regardless, in the comparison tracks, does not have any wins. 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 4 top 20s, a 24.0 DraftKings average, and a 15.2 average finish. He finished 13th here at Atlanta last year, the fall, and 23 total starts with 1 win, 5 top 5s, 8 top 10s, and 16 top 20s. Next in line, Joey Logano, 9,900, 12th on the hypothetical power ranking. And at our comparison tracks, he has 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and 4 top 20s, a 31.1 DraftKings average, and a 12.6 average finish. He finished in 19th here in the fall race last year. 16 total starts at Atlanta with 3 top 5s, 6 top 10s, and 10 top 20s. All right, our next grouping here, we have Kyle Busch at 9,800, Joe Gibbs driver, who for the season probably has the best overall finish for the Joe Gibbs guys or Toyota guys, but still not typical Kyle Busch, especially when we look at the fact that most of the Xfinity guys who run really well in Xfinity have been doing really well this year, where Kyle Busch literally won all 5 of his starts in the Xfinity car last year. With that being said, Kyle's had an awful year. Kyle has fought pretty hard, overcoming some issues, and had some decent finishes this year, but not where you would think he should. So once Toyota figures this out, I think Kyle Busch should be one of the front runners this year. But with that being said, Joe Gibbs and Toyota have got to figure out what's going on with this Toyota. But Kyle Busch in the past at our hypotheticals, what we're looking at for other tracks: 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, 4 top 20s, a 40.8 DraftKings average, and a 10.8 average finish. He finished second here in the fall race last year. 24 total starts at Atlanta with 2 wins, 8 top 5s, 12 top 10s, and 19 top 20s. Kevin Harvick, 9,600, 7th on our hypothetical power ranking. And in the last 5 starts at our look-like tracks, he has no top 5s, 3 top 10s, and 4 top 20s, a 38.2 DraftKings average, and a 13.2 average finish. He finished 11th here in the fall Atlanta race last year. 32 total starts here at Atlanta with 3 wins, 9 top 5s, 17 top 10s, and 22 top 20s. William Byron, 9,400, 19th on that hypothetical power ranking. And in comparison tracks, he has no top 5s, 1 top 10, 2 top 20s, 4.6, a whopping 4.6 DraftKings average, a 27.2 average finish, finished 20th here in the Atlanta race last fall. And out of his 5 total starts at Atlanta, he has 1 top 10, 4 top 20s. I bet you William Byron is really glad that they paved over that old asphalt and changed the configuration. Maybe that'll help his luck at Atlanta. Martin Truex Jr. next in line here at 9,200, 8th on our hypothetical power ranking. And in last 5 starts at the comparison tracks, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 5 top 20s, a 34.7 DraftKings average, and a 10.0 average finish. Once again, Martin Truex Jr. drives for Toyota and Joe Gibbs. He's also had a lot of issues and problems to start this year. So, how much ownership I'll have of him? Don't know yet. Depends on practice and qualifying, I guess, maybe. But it seems like most their early speed seems to be there, and then they fade about a third to a halfway through the races so far this year. So they're having issues with parts breaking and speeding on pit roads and just bad pit stops and all sorts of things. Just if bad luck were good luck, they would be winning races, but bad luck is not good luck, and they have been just awful. He did finish 3rd here at the fall race last year here at Atlanta, and has 24 total starts to his record here at Atlanta with 6 top 5s, 12 top 10s, and 16 top 20s. Next in line, Tyler Reddick, $9,000, 14th on the power ranking. And Tyler Reddick in our hypothetical look at tracks, 1 top 10, 1 top 20, 27.7 DraftKings average, and a 12.0 average finish. He finished 6th here in the fall race last year. 3 total starts at Atlanta with 1 top 5, 1 top 10, and 2 top 20s. All right, next in line here, we've got Alex Bowman at 8,800, 20th on our hypothetical power ranking. And in the last 5 comparison tracks, he has 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and 2 top 20s, a 19.9 DraftKings average, and an 18.8 average finish. Finished 18th here in the fall race last year. 7 total starts here at Atlanta with 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and 5 top 20s. Brad Keselowski, 8,600, 10th on our hypothetical power ranking. And at the comparison tracks we're looking at, he has 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, 3 top 20s, a 25.1 DraftKings average, and a 15.2 average finish. Brad finished 19th here in the fall race last year. 14 total starts at Atlanta with 2 wins, 5 top 5s, 10 top 10s, and 10 top 20s. All right, Kurt Busch, 8,400, 4th on our hypothetical power ranking. And at the last few comparison tracks, out of his 5 starts, 1 win, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, 4 top 20s, 48.0 DraftKings average, 14.2 average finish. He finished 9th here at the fall race in Atlanta. And in the last 30 starts, total of 30 starts here at Atlanta, he has 4 wins, 8 top 5s, 16 top 20s, and 22 top 20s. 16 top 10s, 22 top 20s. And I'm guessing Kurt Busch is probably not happy that they paved over the old track. Seems like he really liked that old track. So we'll see how well Kurt does with the new setup. Alright, next in line here we have Chase Briscoe, 8,200, 5th on our hypothetical power ranking, and our winner from last week. Congratulations, Chase Briscoe. Also, he was the 200th different winner in the Cup Series since Cup racing started. So congratulations, Chase. In the last 5 starts at our comparison tracks, he has 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 4 top 20s, a 34.2 DraftKings average, 14.2 average finish. He finished 10th here in the fall race last year. And out of the 2 total starts here at Atlanta, he has 1 top 10. Next in line, we've got Ross Chastain, who has really started to have a good year. Is priced at $8,000, 15th on our hypothetical power ranking, and at the 5 comparison tracks we've been looking at, he has 1 top 5, 9.0 DraftKings average, 27.4 average finish. He finished 14th here in the fall race, and he has 4 total starts here at Atlanta with 120. Alright, next in line here we have Austin Cindric, $7,800, a Daytona 500 winner. 9th on our hypothetical power ranking, and out of the 5 comparison tracks, he only has 3 starts, where he does have that 1 Daytona 500 win with 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s, a 37.4 DraftKings average, and 11.7 average finish. He did not race in the fall race last year, and only has 1 other start here at Atlanta, and wasn't in the top 20. And next in line here, we have Christopher Bell from Joe Gibbs Racing in a Toyota, who had really good speed early last week and then fell off like the rest of them. So I don't know how much ownership I'll have of Christopher Bell until Toyota figures their stuff out. $7,700, 23rd on our hypothetical power ranking. In the last 5 comparison tracks, he has 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 2 top 20s, a 12.8 DraftKings average, 20.8 average finish. He finished 8th here in the fall race last year and does have 3 total starts here at Atlanta with 1 top 10, 2 top 20s. Next in line here we have Eric Almirola, Mr. Top 10 himself, except for last week where he finished 12th, so Mr. Top 12 himself. $7,600, 18th on the power ranking. In the comparison tracks, he has 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 3 top 20s, 37.5 DraftKings average, a 16.0 average finish. He finished 23rd here in the fall race last year and has 12 total starts here at the old Atlanta with 1 top 10, 8 top 20s. Austin Dillon, 7,400, 16th on our hypothetical power ranking this week, and at the comparison tracks, he has 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 4 top 20s, a 41.0 DraftKings average, 11.2 average finish, finished 12th here in the fall race last year, and has 10 total starts here at Atlanta with 1 top 10, 6 top 20s. Bubba Wallace next in line, 7,300, 11th on our hypothetical power ranking. Bubba Wallace does have 1 win at our 5 hypothetical tracks, which includes the fall Talladega race where he did winning. And along with that, he has 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 5 top 20s, a 46.5 DraftKings average, and a 10.4 average finish. He finished 14th here at the fall race last year. 5 total starts here at Atlanta with 2 top 20s. Now also remember, Bubba Wallace drives a Toyota for 2311. So he's fared a little bit better than the rest of the Toyotas have. Kurt Busch has done better, but Bubba Wallace still, until Toyota figures it out, I don't know. And because this track's like a super speedway, it might be something that could change my thought process, at least for this week. So. All right, next grouping we have here, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 7,100, 28th on our hypothetical power ranking. And at the last 5 comparison tracks, we're looking at no top 5s, 1 top 10, 3 top 20s, a 20.7 DraftKings average, 20.6 average finish. He did finish 37th here, dead last, in the fall race last year. 10 total starts here at Atlanta, or the old Atlanta, with 1 top 10 and 8 top 20s. Alright, next in line here, we've got Eric Jones, 6,900. Eric Jones. Oh, yeah, Mr. Caution himself. In the last 2 races, he has decided to bring out a caution by wrecking in the last 10 laps or so, creating a race to the finish. I'm sure he's not getting any Christmas cards from Kyle Busch this year. Either way, Eric Jones, 6,900, 17th on our hypothetical power ranking, and at our comparison tracks, he does have 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s, a 28.0 DraftKings average, and a 17.8 average finish. He finished 24th here in the fall race last year, and at the old configuration of Atlanta, he has 6 starts with 1 top 5, 3 top 10s. Daniel Suarez, next, $6,800, 32nd on the power ranking. And remember, until we do qualifying, these power rankings will probably change fairly dramatically, especially with place differentials being really, really big at super speedways. But Daniel, in our comparison tracks, has 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 3 top 20s, a 26.0 DraftKings average, and a 19.6 average finish. He finished 36th here in the fall race at Atlanta last year, 6 total starts at Atlanta with 1 top 10, 3 top 20s. Chris Buescher, 6,700, 22nd on our hypothetical power ranking, and in the last 5 starts at our comparison tracks, he has 2 top 10s, 4 top 20s, a 29.0 DraftKings average, and a 16.0 average finish. He finished 16th here in the fall race last year, 7 total starts at Atlanta, or old Atlanta, and he has 2 top 10s and 3 top 20s. Next in line, we have Michael McDowell, 6,600, 30th on our hypothetical power ranking. And in the last 5 comparison tracks, he has no top 5s, 1 top 10, 3 top 20s, a 23.8 DraftKings average, and a 20.2 average finish. He finished 27th here in the fall race last year, and has started 13 times at the old configuration at Atlanta, with only 1 top 20. Next in line here, Harrison Burton, 6,400, 27th on our hypothetical power ranking, and at the comparison tracks, which pretty much are Auto Club and Daytona, as we can see, he didn't fare so well. Negative 15.4 DraftKings average, 36th place average finish, and did not race in the fall race last year, and has not raced at the old Atlanta racetrack in a Cup car. He has in the Xfinity car. I'm not sure that's going to matter a whole lot. So we'll see where he qualifies and how he practices. So he was running really well at Daytona until he got wrecked. Cole Custer next here at 6,300, 23rd on our hypothetical power ranking. And out of the last 5 starts at comparison tracks, he has 5 top 20s. 38.3 on the DraftKings average, 15.8 average finish. Finished 17th here in the fall race last year at Atlanta, and 3 total starts at the old configuration with 3 top 20s. Justin Haley, 6,100, 21st on the power ranking, and at our comparison tracks has 1 top 20, a 24.2 DraftKings average, and a 25th place average finish. He finished 29th here in the fall race last year, 2 total starts with no top 20s. Okay, next we have Todd Gilliland, $6,000 this week, 29th in our hypothetical power ranking, and at our comparison tracks, he has a total of 2 starts with 2 top 20s, 37.7 DraftKings average, 14th average finish. Did not race in the fall race last year at Atlanta, and out of the 5 total starts at the Atlanta old configuration, he has 2 top 20s. Next, we've got Noah Gragson, coming up from the Xfinity Series, making his second Cup start. First one was at Daytona. He is priced at $5,800, 25th on our hypothetical power ranking, and that one started Daytona, where he finished 31st. Has a 19.8 DraftKings average, and has not started in the Cup car at Atlanta, but has run the Xfinity car quite often at Atlanta and raced fairly well. So that's the old configuration. Who knows what the new configuration? Either way, we'll find out after practice and qualify. All right, our next grouping here, Todd Gilliland, 5,600, 31st on our hypothetical power ranking. 2 total starts at our comparison tracks with 1 top 20, a 17.0 DraftKings average, and a 26.5 average finish. He did not race at all in the Cup car last year, so no stats, and never raced at Atlanta in the Cup car. Has done it in the trucks, but not in Xfinity or Cup. So, good question what Todd Gilliland will do. So, depends on what practice qualifying looks like. Check back with me on Sunday morning, and we'll see how well he qualifies and practices. David Reagan, 5,400, 26th on our hypothetical power ranking, and at our comparison tracks, he has 1 top 10, 1 top 10, 1 top 20, a 64.7 DraftKings average, and an 8.0 average finish. I did not notate that, but the only start that David Reagan has in those 5 comparison tracks was the Daytona 500 from this year earlier, where he finished 8th. He did not race in the fall race here last year, but has 17 total starts at the Atlanta Motor Speedway on the old configuration, where he has 1 top 10, 5 top 20s. Next here we have Corey LaJoie, 5,300, who had a tough weekend last weekend, losing the front right wheel all the way off. And it looks like he may lose some crew members and crew chiefs for 4 races, but I think they're appealing that, so we'll see what happens. Either way, 33rd on the hypothetical power ranking this week, and at our 5 comparison tracks, he does have 1 top 20, a 26.2 DraftKings average, 23.0 average finish. He finished 22nd here in the fall race last year, and has 5 total starts here at Atlanta with no top 20s. Okay, the Biff is back. Greg Biffle, 5,200, 36th on our hypothetical power ranking, has 1 start on our comparison tracks, which was the Daytona 500, just like David Reagan, where Greg had a tough go at it, finishing 36th at Daytona, so gave him a 22.6 negative DraftKings average. He has 22 total starts at the old Atlanta configuration with 3 top 5s, 8 top 10s, and 16 top 20s. I wish Greg the best of luck. Hopefully he can improve on what he has started so far this year. This 3rd go at it this year. Josh Bilicki, $5,000, 37th on our hypothetical power ranking, and at the 5 comparison tracks, no top 20s, a 7.5 DraftKings average, and a 33rd average finish. Josh finished 34th here at the fall race last year, and out of his 3 total starts here at Atlanta, he does not have a top 20. The last final 2 here, we've got BJ McLeod at 4,900, 35th on the hypothetical, and at the comparison tracks, no top 20s, 18.2 DraftKings average, 28.6 average finish. Finished 30th in the fall race last year, 5 total starts, no top 20s. Cody Ware, 4,800, 34th on our hypothetical power ranking, 16.7 DraftKings average, and a 28.2 average finish. Finished 33rd here in fall race last year, and has started 4 times at the old Atlanta configuration. With that being said, potentially we could look at taking some of these guys, BJ, Cody, Josh, Greg, Corey, David, Todd, because they are inexpensive, and if they qualify towards the rear of the field, that might be somebody we take a look at, because if they race this like they do a super speedway and don't end up getting lapped early, that might be the only difference with this, is since it's only a 1.5 mile track, you might not be able to lay back as much in fear that you could go down a lap fairly quickly. It's going to be interesting. Catch up with me on Sunday morning for more details. But let's take a look at some of the optimal lineups that I kind of put together to kind of give us a comparison. our super speedways, which was our Daytona 500 from earlier this year, 4 races ago, and our Talladega fall race from last year, shows that it's a lot to do about place differential. As you can see, we had a 1-ish kind of dominator with Ryan Blaney at Daytona, leading 36 laps. But we did have 4 place differential guys, starting 38th, 34th, 33rd, and 16th. 3 value picks, and 4 of the people finished in the top 5. We had $4,100 left over. I think we're going to see something along those lines again this weekend. I think you'll end up having somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 left over. So don't necessarily look at, oh, I have to spend all of my $50,000. And honestly, you almost never have to spend all of your $50,000. It's rare that the optimal lineup comes in at $50,000 mark exactly. At Talladega, as you can see, it was really no dominators, 5 place differential guys, 4 value guys, 3 finishing guys. So they have $5,900 left over. And if we look at the last 2 Atlanta races, where we had 325 laps, but remember, we didn't have the new pavement, the new car, super speedway packages and all that, so it's not really a 100% fair comparison. But still, either way, we had $1,000 and $1,200 left over, had 2 dominators and 1 dominator, 2 place differentials in each, and 2 to 3 value guys and 3 finishing guys. So that kind of gives you an idea. I mean, other than Kyle Larson in the spring race, who dominated almost the entire race, and then letting it go to Ryan Blaney at the end, they kind of shared some dominator spots. Either way, this says live, but I will not be live on Sunday. It will be on a tape delay, but either way, it should be posted sometime in the morning or potentially even late Saturday night. But either way, that's when I will break down all of the qualifying and practice shenanigans, possibly, and we'll look at who I think might be our best bets for dominators, place differentials, and finishing and value spots. So make sure you check back on Sunday and check out that video. I will have my phone with me, so if you have any comments or questions on Sunday and want my opinion on who to start and who not to start, I'll give you my opinion and take it for what it is. You're watching this for free on YouTube or on Rumble. So either way, it's free. I'll give you my free advice. Happens to win you some money, you can always donate some to me. If not, you can enjoy it. So either way, have a great weekend. Enjoy some really fun and exciting racing in Atlanta because it's really unknown. And oh yeah, F1 is now doing DraftKings. I did put one lineup in just to put a lineup in to see what it was like, because the pricing's different, the way they run it's different, because there's only 20 cars that run. But it's I'll let you know and fill more in next week on F1 racing in DraftKings. Should be kind of interesting. But either way, we'll see you on Sunday morning. Have a great start to your weekend. Enjoy March Madness. Hey, how about Richmond University getting their win today? Just finished watching that while doing this video. Very excited for the Spiders. Being here in Richmond myself, not the biggest fan of Richmond, but it's kind of cool that a local team has won their first round game. So go Spiders. Actually, go Virginia Tech. That's my role team. But either way, have a great weekend. Enjoy March Madness. Enjoy the racing. We'll see you on Sunday. Have a good one. Bye.
Get a good deep breath. You're ready to roll here. Only about one thing tonight, getting the W's, so got to be around the end to do that. You're ready to roll tonight, boys. Let's go have some fun.
Don't get me any more fired up than I already am.
All the way to the checkered. You're fine. Nobody's got to run. Checker time, baby! Hell yeah! Proud of you there, Matt. Good job, pal. Thanks, man. Good job all day. Great work, my man. Great work. Keep putting yourself in position. We'll win our share, right? We got one back today, brother. Good job. Great job, guys. Excellent work, my man. Excellent work. Thank you.
Man, that's awesome. Set out with a goal, we got it here, bud. Thank you very much.
Really proud of you, man. Drove your butt off tonight. We had the fastest car here, bud.
Probably killed our deal there. Just just feel like I gave one away.
Yeah, boys. Way to rebound. Great job. Great job, bud. Really good job. Appreciate you hanging in there with us all weekend. What a weekend. Good job. Thank you.